We found 16 mind-blowing New York secrets that will change how you see the Empire State forever, and the last one will make you rethink where the true heart of New York really is. 16. The Green Colossus of the Northeast. Adirondack Park is 6 million acres of protected wilderness, traced by a faint blue line on the map. Bigger than Yellowstone, Yosemite, the Grand Canyon, Glacier, and Great Smoky Mountains combined, it's a living mosaic where black spruce bogs neighbor white-steepled towns, and loons call across mirror-flat lakes. More than 3,000 lakes and ponds, 30,000 miles of rivers and streams, and about 130,000 year-round residents all coexist under Article 14 of the state constitution. Those two charged words, forever wild. Great camps of the Gilded Age hide in the pines. Trailheads to the high peaks begin beside general stores. A ranger might pass a school bus on the same two-lane that leads to an old fire tower. It matters because it is a bold model for conserving nature at massive scale while people still live inside it. 15. The waterfall that beats Niagara. Near Ithaca, Taughannock Falls steps out of a narrow gorge and drops 215 feet in one clean, polished plunge, taller than the American side of Niagara. The amphitheater of shale and sandstone curves around the falling sheet like a stone cathedral. In winter, a blue-white ice cone grows at its base. In summer, mist smokes off the pool. In autumn, leaves blaze on the rim. You can feel the glacial past under your feet in the rounded river cobbles. It matters because it proves fame and size are not the same, and it shows how glacial history carved true giants in quiet places. 14. The river that flows two ways. The lower Hudson is a tidal estuary for more than 150 miles. Twice a day, the ocean's pulse pushes in. The river literally breathes with the tide. The Mohican name, Mahicanatuck, the river that flows two ways, catches the paradox. Barges ride a salt wedge that moves up and down the channel. Striped bass spawn in brackish shallows. Great blue herons stalk Manhattan's skyline from cattail marshes. Henry Hudson felt this surge in 1609. Commuters feel it now each time a ferry noses into a slip. It matters because New York City sits on a living tidal engine that links mountains to sea. 13. The glacial masterpiece of the Finger Lakes. 11 long lakes carved by ice run like claw marks across the map. Seneca drops to 618 feet, deeper than parts of the Atlantic shelf, holding summer heat like a battery and leaking it back into November. That warmth wraps vineyard rows in gentle air. Fog creeps down slopes. Riesling and Cabernet Franc hang on the vine just a little longer. Cayuga, Keuka, Canandaigua, each has a character. Each is edged in waterfalls that shout the region's motto, Ithaca is gorgeous. It matters because ancient ice still powers a 21st century economy. 12. The waterfall that was switched off. In 1969, engineers built a temporary dam and shut off the American Falls at Niagara for months. The riverbed went dry. Geologists clambered over mossy talus and rusted coins and the bones of old cameras, measuring the cliff face like surgeons. Should the fallen rock be hauled out? Should we reshape nature? In the end, they chose restraint. They let the talus be. They let gravity and time do their work. The water returned, roaring as if it had never left. This matters because it shows how much power we can wield and why restraint can be the smartest choice. 11. The island split between two states. In 1998, the Supreme Court drew a legal fault line through Ellis Island in New Jersey versus New York. The tiny natural island, the 3-acre nub where millions first stepped onto American soil, remained New York. But most of the later landfill, which expanded the island to over 27 acres and includes much of the immigration complex, was ruled New Jersey. A place that feels purely New York turns out to be a shared story. It matters because borders are stories we tell, and this one rewrites a place millions associate with a single city. 10. The castle built for a love that never arrived. In the Thousand Islands, on a literal heart island in the St. Lawrence, George C. Boldt, hotelier of the Waldorf Astoria, was building a Rhineland-style dream for his wife, Louise. Turrets rose, hearts were carved in stone keystones and railings. A powerhouse chugged on the shore. Then Louise died suddenly in 1904. Construction stopped that day. For decades, the wind rushed down empty corridors and snow sifted through broken glass. Only in the 1970s did restoration begin, room by room. It matters because even in a river of 1,000 islands, human love and loss leave the deepest mark. 9. The mountains that are still growing. The Adirondacks are rising 2 to 3 millimeters a year. GPS pins quietly track the slow lift of a billion-year-old dome, buoyed by the Earth's deep rebound from the last ice age and subtle forces in the mantle. You can put your hand on an orthosite older than animals and know it's still on the move. Trail registers fill, lichens creep, rock itself inches skyward. It matters because Earth is not static. Even the oldest bones of the continent are still moving. 8. The flame that never goes out. Behind a small waterfall in Chestnut Ridge Park near Orchard Park, a natural gas seep feeds a flickering flame in a stone grotto. Water spills in strings right over the fire. On windy days, the flame trembles. After a heavy rain, it can sputter and hikers relight it from coals. The source is shale laid down in a Devonian sea, slowly exhaling methane through fractures we can't see. Fire and water share the same space, and you feel like you've walked into a myth. It matters because it feels like a fairy tale, yet it is pure geology writing poetry with gas and shale. 7. The city built on earthquake country. New York City sits on a spider web of old faults and has logged more than 200 quakes since the 1700s. In 1884, a magnitude 5+ rattled chimneys from Brooklyn to the Jersey Shore. More recently, a moderate New Jersey quake sent a shiver through mid-rise glass and subway platforms, a reminder that risk hides beneath our feet. Unreinforced masonry, buried utilities, and century-old bridges all have a stake in this quiet hazard. It matters because unseen geology can be more dangerous than the storms we watch. 6. The oldest forest on Earth. In a Catskills quarry near Cairo, scientists mapped fossilized root systems that are 385 million years old, older than the dinosaurs. Gilboa's petrified stumps hinted at the story for a century. Now we can see the full plan of a forest. Tree ferns like Eospermatopterus, early giants like Archaeopteris, knitting soils together and pulling carbon from the air. These trees rewired the planet's climate, laying groundwork for the world we inherited. It matters because New York holds a chapter from the origin story of life on land. 5. The ditch that built a nation. They called it Clinton's Ditch when Governor DeWitt Clinton swore he'd link the Hudson to the Great Lakes. In 8 years, with shovels, picks, black powder, and immigrant muscle, they carved 363 miles of canal, punctuated by 83 locks. Mules named Sal and Pete tugged packet boats past farms and mills. Shipping a ton of grain from Buffalo to New York City dropped from about $100 to $10. Towns like Rochester and Syracuse exploded. In 1825, Clinton poured Lake Erie water into the Atlantic in the wetting of the waters, and the continent's economy bent toward New York. It matters because a hand-dug waterway rewired the economy of a continent. 4. The secret station beneath City Hall. Under the rush of Manhattan, the original 1904 City Hall station still curves like a jeweled tunnel. Guastavino tile arches ripple overhead in olive, cream, and jade. Skylights once pooled daylight onto a bronze and glass ticket booth. Wrought iron chandeliers still hang in place. It closed in 1945, its elegant curve too tight for longer modern cars. Today, with a sanctioned transit museum tour or a lucky glimpse as the 6 train loops, you can see beauty hidden in the city's bones. It matters because beauty lives in the places we forgot. 3. The island the government kept secret. For decades, Plum Island hosted a high-security animal disease lab off the tip of Long Island. Restricted waters, guarded fences, rumors spinning faster than facts. With the lab relocating to Kansas, the island's future pivoted from secrecy toward conservation. By 2023, momentum had shifted to protect its dunes, seal haulouts, and colonial-era lighthouse, with conservation groups and officials working to keep it wild. It matters because a place once defined by secrecy now faces a future defined by preservation. 2. The island that is not one. Long Island is surrounded by water and home to almost 8 million people, with ocean to the south and the Sound to the north. Yet, legally, the Supreme Court treated it as a peninsula attached to the mainland when it determined that Long Island Sound is an inland waterway, handing control of the Sound seabed to New York and Connecticut. Court fights over where land ends and water law begins decided who controls fisheries, pipelines, and money. It matters because legal geography decides real power and real money. 1. The heart of the empire. The geographic center of New York is a quiet spot near Pratt's Hollow in Madison County, far from Manhattan's glass, far from the Adirondack high peaks. It might be a hedgerow between fields, milkweed chattering with insects, a red-tailed hawk circling over hay bales. Stand there and you are balanced between Montauk and Niagara, the Champlain line and the Pennsylvania border, between the island and the lakes. It matters because New York is more than a city. It is a vast, ancient, surprising piece of Earth, and we have only just begun to explore it. Tell me which of these blew your mind the most, and drop your own New York secret in the comments. If you want more hidden geography, hit subscribe and let us know where to go next.